What is going on, everybody? And today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 coasters for my 3-year anniversary. So my 3-year anniversary was February 17th, so just a few days ago. And before we even get to the ranking, I just want to thank you guys so much for a really, really great 3 years. I mean, I am currently at 1,200 subs, which is really, really good. Thank you guys so much for that. Because especially when I started this channel back in 2023, February 17th, 2023, I really didn't think I was going to make it as far as I am, or as far as I have. And I really want to thank you guys so much for a really, really great 3 years. But I haven't done a top 10 coasters since 2023. So it's been almost 3 years since I've done a top 10 coaster. So obviously the list has changed drastically. So I mean, there's probably some coasters that were on my 2023 top 10 list that are still on my 2026 top 10 list, but they're not going to be in the same spots, I can tell you that. But let's get right into it. Definitely very excited to do my top 10. So starting off, at my number 10 spot, we have Maverick at Cedar Point, which is an Intamin Blitz coaster. This ride is amazing. I mean, it's so, so good. I mean, I haven't ridden this ride in like almost 3 years now. This summer will be 3 years unless we go to Cedar Point before the 3-year mark comes. But I first rode it in 2023, and I haven't ridden it since. So my perspective is kind of old. I mean, it's from 2023, so if it has changed anyway, like smoother, it's running faster now or slower, I mean, I won't know because I haven't ridden it since 2023. But my ride in 2023 was really, really great. I mean, it's very intense. The drop is absolutely insane. It's super fast-paced. I love the crazy quick turns in the beginning, and of course you have those snaggle dives at the end, which are insane, and then you have that launch out of the tunnel, which is really, really crazy. That hydraulic launch in the middle of the ride, it's so, so cool. It's very punchy. I love it. Like, you wouldn't think it'd be so punchy because it's in the middle of the ride, but it is. It really is. So it's just a great ride all around, and I love Maverick. Always will. Hopefully we'll be able to ride it this summer again, or sometime soon, because we wanted to ride it during our last trip at Cedar Point, but we honestly just ran out of time. So hopefully I'll be able to ride it very, very soon. But really, really like Maverick. It is an amazing ride. At my number 9 spot, we have Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England. This ride is very crazy. I mean, it's a great hyper coaster. It's a great Intamin hyper. Now, I love the ride. I love the airtime. It has very strong airtime. I mean, that fourth hill, the fourth airtime hill, that gives really, really crazy ejected airtime. Now, the only thing I have with this ride that is not the best is the restraints. Now, when I first rode this ride back in 2023, the restraints were way worse than they were when I rode it last year. Last year, it was honestly not that bad. Now, it's probably because I've gotten taller. But when I rode it in 2023, it was very painful. The restraints were not good, and they're still not like the best. Like, the restraints are still not like top tier. They're not going to be as good as like the nutshell restraints that you see on like B&M hypercoasters. But I mean, the ride itself, I think, lives up to the restraints. I mean, you should still experience the ride. Don't let the restraints ruin it, because it's a really good ride. I mean, it's very fast paced. It's not super rough. The drop is great in the back row, especially. The airtime is amazing. The theming's really, really good. I mean, it's gone through so many theming changes. It was Superman, then it was Bizarro, then it was Superman, and it's stayed Superman. So it's gone through a lot of theming changes. I mean, it's won Best Steel Coaster many, many times. So if it's one that you know it's really, really good, which it is, it's just the restraints are not my favorite. They might be a little painful, but I mean, I guess it depends on how tall you are. I'm like 5'3", and it's not that bad. But when I rode it in 2023, I was shorter than I am now. So I think the shorter you are, the more painful it will be, because then it kind of goes lower down on your thighs, I guess it would be. But it just hurts a bit. But honestly, the ride is really, really good. So don't not ride it because of the restraints. It's such a great ride. It's very intense. It's amazing. Really, really love Superman. I hope to get back on it this year, which we probably will, but it's such a great ride. At my number 8 spot, we have Millennium Force at Cedar Point. This is an amazing Intamin Giga. This was my first ever Giga coaster, so it's amazing. Now, this has gone lower in my list as I've ridden more coasters. Not that it's gotten worse, it's just that I've realized that some other coasters are a bit better than it. Now, So many people always say that Millie is forceless and it's all this kind of stuff. I personally still don't think it's forceless, even though it's gone down on my list. It doesn't mean I don't like it anymore. I still think it has pretty good forces. It's very fast. It's very fast-paced. This ride is definitely focused on speed and has pretty good airtime. Most of it is floater airtime. That's why I think it's more so focused on speed than airtime. But it's still great. Go in the back row. That 300-foot drop is amazing in the back row. And just, of course, it's at Cedar Point, and Cedar Point is just amazing. But Millie is an amazing coaster. When I first rode it in 2023, I first rode everything in 2023, it was just great. Rode it in the back row, and it was my number one coaster for a long time. Then it switched to Steel Vengeance being my number one coaster. Then it was like Wildcats Revenge, and then it just goes back and forth for my number one coaster. But which that is different now. It's not any of those three that I named, because we're obviously waiting until the end of the video so you guys can find out what my number one coaster is. But Millie is an amazing coaster. Definitely don't skip out on Millie. Even though people say it's not the best, it's still a great ride. Like, it's amazing. It's a Giga. All Gigas are great, and Millie is one of the great ones. But always will love Millie, and it is an amazing ride. At my number 7 spot, we have Pantheon at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This coaster is amazing. It's such a great Intamin blitz coaster or multi-launch coaster. It's amazing. It's such a great ride. Those swing launches give you so much airtime. I have a reaction video, on-ride reaction to it, because Busch Gardens Williamsburg is one of those parks that lets you film on rides, which I did luckily get to do. Very grateful that I got to do that. And I have an on-ride reaction video to it for my first ride. And when you're going backwards and you go over the airtime hill, you can just see I'm very, very surprised that I was not expecting to get that much airtime. You just get flung out of your seat. It's really, really great. And the restraints are great. They don't hurt. They are nice and comfortable, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's smooth. It gives good laterals. It gives good hang time on that stall. Great airtime, like I've said. And it's located at an amazing park. Busch Gardens Williamsburg has won Most Beautiful Park many, many times. And it explains, if you go there, it is very beautiful. It's going to beat out any Six Flags park or any Cedar Fair park in terms of just the quality of the park and just the environment it's in. I mean, at a Six Flags park or a Cedar Fair park, it's not going to be like crazy themed or crazy beautiful, all that kind of stuff. Busch Gardens is on another level of just the overall park experience itself, not just the rides. And the rides are amazing too. So I have a whole review of Busch Gardens Williamsburg itself, because I could talk about that park for days. It's really, really great. And Pantheon is such an amazing ride. Don't skip out on it when you go to Busch Gardens. It's a must-do. It's amazing. Unless it's closed. Now, this ride, I feel like it's one of those rides that downtime will be expected, but you should be able to get on it. I was at Busch Gardens for like 3 days, and I got on it all those 3 days. So definitely always ride Pantheon. It's amazing, and it is probably my number 1 at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So it's a great ride. At my number 6 spot, we have Diamondback at Kings Island. This is such a great hypercoaster. It's amazing. It has such great airtime. Now, keep in mind, I only rode this ride once, because when we went to Kings Island, it was storming that day that we went, later in the day when we were at that side of the park. And we only got to ride it once because we were trying to fit in all the other 3 coasters that we were trying to ride. And we rode it in the rain. So it was really, really great. And it is such an amazing coaster. You get so much airtime going down that first drop. Now, this is a coaster with staggered seating. And if you guys don't know what that means, basically, it's not like your standard hypercoaster where there's 4 across each row. Now, with this one, there's 2 across, or there's 2 seats for each row. And what staggered means for it is that, say, the front row will have like 2 seats that are close together. Second row will have 2 seats that are farther apart, and there's a divider in the middle. That's why it's called staggered seating. So in the back row, there's 2 seats, but there's a divider in the middle, so they're farther apart from each other. And this was my first coaster that had staggered seating, and it was pretty cool. I mean, you can just like put your arms anywhere if you sit in the seats that are farther apart from each other, and you won't have to worry about like hitting anybody. It's a great ride outside of the seating. It's a great ride. It's pretty smooth. I know people kind of complained about it having like a rattle. I personally didn't really find it to have that bad. Now, every coaster kind of does, unless you're riding like a Vekoma, like a new gen Vekoma, which are butter smooth. every other coaster pretty much has a rattle. You're really not going to find any that don't. But Diamondback is such a great B&M Hyper, probably my favorite B&M Hyper. And I've ridden a good amount of B&M Hypers, and this one's probably my favorite out of all of them. And it's my number one at Kings Island too. So it's just such a great B&M Hyper coaster. Don't miss out on it when you go to Kings Island. And I almost forgot the splashdown at the end is really, really great. Now, you can get wet from it. If you reach out and try to reach out for the water, you can get some on you. Now, I tried to do that, but I personally didn't get any water on me, which was fine. I mean, I probably would have been cold anyway, so for the best. But if you want to, you can on a hot day. I'm sure that'd be nice. But Diamondback, such a fabulous ride. Don't skip out on it when you go to Kings Island. It's great. All right, here we go. My top 5 coasters. At my number 5 spot, we have El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. This is such a great ride. I've ridden this coaster more times than I can count because Great Adventure is my home park, and I've ridden Toro so many times from when it's reopened in 2023 after the incident and all the way up until the end of the season in 2025. I've ridden it so many times. It is such a great ride, and now that it's getting a retrack for the 2026 season, leading into the 2027 season, so it'll be much smoother. I'm really excited for that because over the years, I mean, it's turning 20 this year. This year, in 2026, it'll be its 20th anniversary. So 20 years on an Intamin prefab, it's going to be a little rough. And there's definitely some spots on Toro that are getting a bit rougher over the years. So I'm really happy to see it being retracked fully. But Toro is an amazing Intamin prefab coaster. Starting off with that first drop, people say it feels like you're diving off a cliff. It really does, especially in the back row. You just get whipped down that drop. It's really crazy. And then the 2 camelbacks to start, those give amazing airtime. It's such a loud ride too. You can literally hear the upstop wheels grinding across the track. That just shows you it has some really crazy airtime. And of course, you got that turnaround, which has gotten rougher over the years. It's one of the rougher spots, but still really great. And then you have that rolling thunder hill towards the end of the ride. That gives some really crazy ejected airtime, especially in the back row. I actually have a POV of Toro. I used camera glasses in 2023, and that was my first time in the back row. And when I went over that rolling thunder hill, you can just hear it. I was just very surprised. But then you have the twister section, which is great, some nice whip. And again, one of the rougher spots, but that's one of the spots they're retracking this year, which is really great to see. But Toro is such an amazing coaster. And just a little tip, if you're riding it and you haven't, and you want to have a smoother ride, so Toro has 18 seats, and there's 6 cars. So in each car, there's 3 rows. And what you want to do is you want to choose the middle row because that will be a non-wheel seat. Now, the front and back row of one car will be a wheel seat, and that's going to be rougher than a non-wheel seat. So if you want to go in the front row, choose the second row, unless you really want to go in the front, which is understandable. But the front will be a little rougher than the second row because the second row is a non-wheel seat, the front row is a wheel seat. And if you want to go to the back row, I would definitely recommend row 17. That is a great row for the back row because it still gives you the same sensation that you would get in the very back. It's just going to be a bit smoother than the very back. So, choose which seat you want. They're all going to be good, but certain seats are going to be smoother than others. But Toro is an amazing coaster that when you go to Great Adventure, it is a must-do. Definitely ride Toro. At my number 4 spot, we have Siren's Curse at Cedar Point, which was their new for 2025 Vekoma tilt coaster. This ride is absolutely insane. It is so good, and it's the only tilt coaster in America. And the next one is in the UAE at Six Flags Qiddiya City, Iron Rattler, which looks amazing as well, but probably not going to be getting out there anytime soon. Hopefully when I'm older because Falcon's Flight looks good, Spitfire, Iron Rattler, all the coasters at Six Flags Qiddiya look great, and the park itself just looks unmatched with any other Six Flags park. But back to Siren's Curse, it is just such a great ride. Now, just tilting over that pathway, looking down at the pathway, at the people walking, which look very tiny from up that high, then just suddenly dropping into the first inversion, and then there's so many 0G rolls on that ride. There's great whip to them. Like I said, great inversions, great airtime. It is just such a great ride all around, and that's why it's at my number 4 spot. I just rode it this past summer, and it's at my number 4 spot, and I've ridden 105 coasters. So it is a great, great ride. Do not skip out on it when you go to Cedar Point because it is so, so good. It fits at Cedar Point pretty well too. Now, if you guys didn't know, this ride was originally supposed to go to Six Flags over Mexico, but they instead got a family Vekoma Boomerang, and Cedar Point got a Vekoma tilt coaster. So, Six Flags Mexico kind of got the smaller ride, and Cedar Point got the bigger ride. But this ride is amazing. Like I said, make sure to ride it when you go to Cedar Point because it is great. All right, here is my top 3 coasters. At my number 3 spot, we have Wildcats Revenge at Hershey Park. This RMC hybrid is amazing. It is so, so good. It's very fast-paced. It's very intense. It is probably one of the most intense coasters I've ever ridden. When I first rode it and when I first got off of it in 2023, I was just flabbergasted. I mean, it is just, so intense. It was just, it didn't really feel real how intense it was. It was new when I first rode it. When I first rode it in June, June 30th, I'm pretty sure, and it opened June 6th of 2023. So it was pretty new, and I last rode it in 2024. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to go out to Hershey Park in 2025, which is sad, but hopefully I'll be able to get to Hershey this season. Hopefully. We probably will. But we were doing a lot of other parks in 2025. But anyway, Wildcat is just such a great ride. It was at my number 1 spot for a very long time because I realized how great of a ride it really was. I mean, the inversions are so, so snappy. It has some amazing airtime. And it is just so, really, really, it's just great. And that double down, it's one of the weirdest double downs I've experienced because it's not like a normal one where it's just straight double down. It kind of turns to the right. It kind of just shifts you to the right when you're going down the double down, which is really, really crazy. It's not any that I've experienced, but it's just such a great ride. I'm really, really glad that Hershey got this coaster because it just fits so well there. It goes really well with Candymonium, Sky Rush, now we got Wildcat, so that's 3 great coasters at an already great park. Really, really love Wildcat. Never not ride it when you go to Hershey. Always ride a Wildcat. It's such a great ride. And go in the back row if you can because you get some really great airtime on that first drop. Any row on that ride is great. But Wildcat is an amazing coaster. All right, at my number 2 spot, we have Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. You guys knew it was coming. It was going to be in here somewhere. But Steel Vengeance is so, so good. It is such a great RMC hybrid. Now, it's just everything about it is really good. I mean, it's the most airtime of any coaster in the world, 30 seconds of it. It's not as intense as Wildcat, I would say, but it's still great. And the inversions are great. It's the longest RMC hybrid. And it's just a great ride all around Cedar Point, and it just fits so well there. It's in a great spot. I mean, just everything about Steel Vengeance is amazing. I mean, I don't even think I have to talk about it that much because most of you guys who are watching probably already know how great Steel Vengeance is. It's just great. It has some great theming. Go in the back row, and it'll be a great ride for you. 200-foot drop. It's an RMC Hyper Hybrid, so it's just great. That just makes it even better. And it's just such a great ride. When you go to Cedar Point, Steel Vengeance is a must-do. Never skip out on Steve. It's just an amazing ride that is a must-do. All right, here is my number 1 coaster. Take your guesses. A little hint is that I rode it in 2025 during my trip where we went to Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Six Flags Great America, so there's your little hint. But my number 1 coaster is Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. This ride is completely unhinged. It is so, so great. I mean, it is a Stratocoaster. It's a multi-launch Zamperla Stratocoaster. It is just so, so great. And here's a little backstory to how we actually got on this ride. So we were supposed to ride this coaster on the first day we went to Cedar Point, which was a Monday. It was August 4th, and it was a Monday. It was the start to our trip. And we went, and when we went, Top Thrill 2 was closed. And we were like, oh no, that's not good because we aren't really planning to go back to this park. But we decided that on our way home from Six Flags Great America on that Thursday, we were maybe going to hit Cedar Point again because we passed by Cedar Point. And we were going to stay at the hotel anyway so we didn't have to drive that full 12 hours from Illinois back to Pennsylvania. So we decided to stop at Cedar Point on our way back home. And it was actually a Friday because we were gonna do it on Thursday, but it was like when we actually got like closer to Cedar Point, it was like 30 minutes till closing. So we just decided to wait until that Friday morning to go to the park, which it was a good decision because one, it was open, and two, we didn't have to like rush to get to Top Thrill 2. So when we got there, luckily it was open, and it was a very long line. It was like 11 a.m. in the morning. Park opened like an hour earlier, and it was a pretty long line. It was like maybe like an hour and a half, and it was a very hot day. So it was a pretty hard line to wait through, but we eventually got up. We got the second row, and we were off and running. We did that 74-mile-an-hour launch, and then we came back, did the 101-mile-an-hour launch backwards, which is the craziest part, going up that 400-foot spike. Then you go all the way back down and go 420 miles an hour up that 420-foot spike. Or not spike, top hat. That moment is so, so crazy. I mean, I think the craziest moment is definitely going backwards up the 400-foot spike, but the top hat gives really, really good airtime. So every moment on Top Thrill 2 is absolutely insane. Now, this ride is very unreliable. We were really, really lucky that we got to ride it that Friday just on our way back home because we weren't going to be at the park very long. We were only at the park for like an hour and a half, and we still got to ride it, which is really, really great. Now, this, like I said, it's a very unreliable ride. It's more than likely that you're not going to get on it than you are, at least from its stats in the 2025 season. Now, hopefully it'll be more reliable in the 2026 season. That's definitely something we can hope for. But from a past experience, it's not a reliable ride. It really isn't. So if you guys are going to Cedar Point and you see that the ride is open, even if it has a really long line, ride it. Who cares if the line is long? Because if you wait and say, hey, you know what, it's a pretty long line now, so I'm going to wait until a little bit later, and it's not open, it might not reopen. I mean, it could, but it's more likely that it won't. So even if it has a long line, if it's open, ride it, because it is a ride that you don't want to miss. If you're at Cedar Point and it's open, you really don't want to miss it, because it's a ride that if you ride it, your perspective on coasters might change. I mean, it's at my number one. It wasn't my number one before. It took whatever was at my number one out of that place and it swapped. So it's gonna change your list probably, because it's just that great of a ride. It's really crazy. I mean, it's not going to be the smoothest ride, but when you're going 100 miles an hour, you can't really expect something to be super smooth, because that's just not like realistic. So for going the speed it does, it's pretty smooth. So it is just, like I said, such a great ride. When you go to Cedar Point, don't miss out on it, because it's absolutely amazing. That's why it's at my number one spot. But that is going to do it for my top 10 coaster ranking. And my number one coaster, like I said, is Top Thrill 2. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been almost 3 years since I've made a top 10. And as you can see, if you watched my top 10 a while ago, which it's not that good a video, I'm going to admit, and you compare it to the one that I just did, the coasters are completely different. But like I said, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, I want to thank you guys so much for a great 3 years. This is my 3-year anniversary special. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want me to make any more videos, it's just a little hard to make content right now because it's the off season, and whenever it's the off season, content is pretty slow. But once Great Adventure reopens March 28th and all the parks start reopening again, content will start coming in faster, more vlogs, more just content itself, even especially on the new coaster that Great Adventure is getting. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, guys.